Just done a video about two potential fights to consider betting on. Brian Rose versus Carson Jones, Paulie Malignaggi versus Danny Garcia. In that video I say that both of them are viable upsets. You could see the upset in either video, in either fight. In one fight you get sufficiently rewarded with the prices, in another you don't. Let's bear that in mind as we talk about this special bet that Ladbrokes are offering. Guess what the price is on Anthony Joshua to become a world champion in the heavyweight division by 2020. Let me define world champion, because Ladbrokes defines it. WBC, WBA, IBO, IBF. In other words, Joshua isn't going to get there simply by winning, a random version of the title, like the IBO or the WBU. He's got to win one of the recognised 4 major belts. Let's talk, before I reveal the price that Ladbrokes are offering, let's consider what we think the price should be. The best fighter Anthony Joshua has beaten is Kevin Johnson. Now don't get me wrong, Kevin Johnson's a respectable yardstick. He's a top 50 heavyweight, or he was when Joshua stepped into the ring with him. But he's no higher than that. He'd become a perennial opponent. He was in the autumn of his career. Let's bear in mind that this guy, Anthony Joshua, who we are betting on at this stage of his career to become world heavyweight champion, has never been beyond 3 rounds, has never shown stamina, has never really taken a solid shot in the professional ring. Now both of those factors are even more relevant if we consider that Joshua's stamina and Joshua's durability are potential concerns that would arise if you go back and watch his amateur footage like I have. Let's also factor in that, in addition to those things, Joshua's never really been put on his back foot. Joshua's never really had to show his defensive capabilities in a professional ring. My point is, and I've covered it in other videos, so I won't go on about it too much, but at this point, Anthony Joshua is a completely unproven commodity. He hasn't beaten anyone, and he has only shown 1 string to his bow. In other words, Anthony Joshua is no more advanced a prospect than David Price or Audley Harrison when they were ascending the ranks. Olympians, carrying power, destroying people. Don't get me wrong, Joshua's looked good, and he's also being promoted by a very powerful team in boxing with a lot of money behind him, so there's a lot of hype. Let me tell you what I think. I think at this moment, Joshua is some way away from the top 10 of the sport. You look at a guy like Carlos Takam, and you look at his resume, and you see that he's drawn with Mike Perez, and you see that he's beaten Tony Thompson. You look at guys like Bryant Jennings, Kubrat Pulev, obviously the likes of Povetkin, Tyson Fury. Look at a guy like Bermain Stavern, who's beaten Chris Arreola twice. The list could go on. Even look at someone like Malik Scott. Look at some of the names that he's beaten in his career. Look at the fact that he beat up Alex Leopai last time out. My point is, Joshua's got some way to go before he's even in that bracket of conversation. Let alone talking about challenging for the belts that are currently held by Vladimir Klitschko, that are currently held by Deontay Wilder. At this stage, I would make Joshua a 5-1 or a 6-1 shot to win a heavyweight championship ever let alone by some sort of deadline. I would guess, on the balance of probability, it is likely he will at some point get a world title shot. He's exceptionally well promoted. His promoter seems intent on keeping him away from real danger. There's clearly a lot of money behind him, and the sanctioning fees rate him. You know, Joshua's very sellable. Joshua's got a huge public following. And most importantly in this political game, Joshua will attract large purses, which means he will pay even larger fees to the sanctioning bodies, who take something like a 2% fee of a purse if someone fights for a world title under their jurisdiction. Now, Carlos Takam is an interesting example. He is perhaps the least glamorous fighter who resides in the top 10 of the heavyweight division. Why would a governing body make Carlos Takam their number one rated fighter? If he fights for the belt, he might get a 50 grand purse. They'll be able to charge 2% of that. It's £1,000. No, they'd rather have someone like Joshua at the top of their rankings. If he can sell out Wembley Stadium in massive fights against David Haye and Tyson Fury and get a £10 million purse, well, I'm sure they'd rather have 2% of that. And in my mind, that is why we've seen Joshua climb to the ludicrous ranking of second, I believe, in the WBC heavyweight rankings. So with that in mind, I don't discount the fact. I make it about an even shot that at some point he'll get a world title shot. The guy's marketable, highly ranked. But winning it is another thing altogether. And as I say, I think his chances of winning a world title probably somewhere between 10 and 20%. I think the balance of probability would be that he won't win a world title, because there are other far more proven individuals who have proven their worth against better level of opposition and have proven a more full and diverse set of skills. Anyway, we're 7 minutes into the video and I still haven't dropped a bombshell. Here we are. Drum roll, please. Ladbrokes have Anthony Joshua as 1 to 10. 1 to 10 to win a version of the World Heavyweight Championship. This video is not to say that Anthony Joshua will not win a World Heavyweight Championship. He may well do. I even hope he does. But I think that is probably the most ludicrous gambling proposition I have ever seen or heard of. 1 to 10. In other words, if you are new to gambling, you have to stake £10 to win £1. It is viewed as that much of a certainty that you don't even match your stake. You don't even get half of your stake. You only get 10% of your stake as profit if this guy, who's never been beyond 3 rounds, who's never taken a punch, who has never fought a top 40 opponent, to become world champ. How many of us wish we'd had 1 to 10 on David Price? I bet a few bullets were dodged there. You know, as I say, nothing against Anthony Joshua, not hating on him. But the truth is, anyone in Anthony Joshua's position, the same goes for Hughie Fury, the same goes for Joseph Parker, the same goes for George Arias, the same goes for Andy Ruiz. Yeah, all of these heavyweights coming up, looking good. There's a lot of hype behind them. Only very few can make the top of the sport. Very few. And I've seen nothing from Anthony Joshua that necessarily puts him ahead of those other names I've just mentioned. I'm not saying he doesn't become World Heavyweight Champion. Good luck to him. But please let me know if you would consider backing Joshua at those odds. For me, the fact that a bookmaker is even allowed to offer that market is almost criminal. But the fact that they are offering it suggests that some people out there, potentially some people watching this video, are happy to be placing bets at that kind of odds. If you are one of those people, please comment in this video. I'm keen to discuss with you. And let me know your rationale as to why you think 1 to 10 is good value on this unproven novice becoming World Heavyweight Champion. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts.